Hey guys, what up? Total Control A71 chiming in here at the Dunkin' Donut. Turns out I lucked out this year, or at least this Thanksgiving. What you may or may not be aware of is one of the challenges that the homeless will face is finding, during the winter, for the winter holidays, federal holidays, where a lot of businesses will shut down. It can be a little tricky. Finding a place to keep warm until you're ready to go back to your camp or wherever it is that you stay. Anyway, so this particular Dunkin' Donut, I'm being told it's open 24 hours, for our Black Friday. I'm like, cool, that's awesome. So anyway, came across a news story, and as you guys know, in the whole the wake of the McDonald's discrimination against homeless, disabled homeless, myself, just something I wanted to read. I can't believe I'm actually. It's not that I agree with Donald Trump. It's not that I think that his actions for doing this are just or the correct actions, but given the behavior that the immigrants over at the McDonald's have treated me with, the Nigerian immigrants have treated me so appallingly, have demonstrated on multiple occasions the contempt that they have for Americans, for Black Americans in particular. I could get into more about racial demographics and social interactions, but I'm not going to get into that this particular video. I'll read you the story. NBC News, and it reads, just before bedtime on Monday night, Reginald Lysis sat his 6-year-old daughter down and told her something he knew that would break her heart. I told her I have to go back to Haiti, Lysis recalled. She asked me why. I told her that President Donald Trump doesn't want us to stay in the U.S. The girl cried all night. Doesn't want us to stay. I can empathize. Lysis, a 40-year-old pastor at a Baptist church in Northern California, is one of as many as 60,000 Haitians living and working in the U.S. on a temporary residency program created after the catastrophic earthquake rocked the Caribbean nation in 2010. I do indeed recall and remember that. I was working myself. Do I want to say flagship? I was working at was it called the flagship? Well, I was working security somewhere. Anyway, the Trump administration announced that his plans to end temporary protected status, or TPS, for those Haitians on July 22nd, 2019. That means Lysis and his wife, Yali, get your adverbs here. Yali have just under 2 years to figure out what comes next. He is struggling to understand why his adopted country would turn him away. The heartbreak, the pain. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd, exit, stage America even. Or perhaps I should say it the way our Nigerian, and I understand Nigeria is not Haiti, I fully get that, but it's still immigrant. It's immigrant. They could be Asian and it would still apply. My comparative analogy would still apply if they were Asian, Middle Eastern, European, blonde hair, blue-eyed, European from Europe, okay? My comparative analogy would still apply. So like our Nigerian McDonald manager said to me, I now say, to Reginald and Yali. Reginald, Yali, you can't stay here. Looks like you're gonna have to brush up on your spear chucking ability, huh? No. No spear chuck. What's that? Racist, harsh, judgmental? Seems like all those are the things that were imparted upon me. Judgments about the homeless. Yes, you discriminated against me. One discrimination is as good as the next. So there you go. Let's see what our story goes on to say. I didn't sleep at all last night. I kept asking myself why this was happening, he said. Losing sleep? I know the feeling. What will I do with my home, my car, my church? Wow, this guy has a lot. He's got more going than me. Lysis came to the U.S. to preach. He arrived in December 2009, spending several weeks speaking to churches when all of a sudden his native country was hit by the earthquake, magnitude 7. It devastated Haiti, killing tens of thousands of Haitians. Lysis lost everything, including business, school that he owned, where he'd been a principal, a bunch of other stuff. So his life came to an end. I get all that. I understand it. Abrupt, earth-shattering, life-changing event. Trust us. We homeless definitely know a few things about that. But apparently none of that really matters to you. Because after all, like you say, you can't stay here. Can't stay here. It goes on to say, I'm reading this in part. We had permission to stay and built a life. Lysis said, we got a home, we paid our taxes. Yeah, so did I. Or at least you had enough money to get a home. I never even had that. I lived my whole life pillar to post because I could never earn enough to have that lovely home, to have that wonderful car. So it looks like you, you at least had more going for you when your life-changing event happened. Reginald and Yali settled in Novato, a city in the affluent Marin County area of Northern California. He became a pastor. Blah, 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 whole lot of loveliness, blah, blah, blah. All the while, Haiti continued to deteriorate, the aftermath conditions of the earthquake, and then it was also pounded by Hurricane Matthew. The Department of Homeland Security, however, said life has improved dramatically. Wow, things are getting better. Since 2010 earthquake, the number of displaced people in Haiti have decreased by 97%, the department said in a statement on Monday. Haiti is able to safely receive traditional levels of returned citizens. They say it's okay for you to go back there. Just like it's okay for me to just simply... Alright, this thing kind of rounds out with Lysis saying, Lysis balked at the prospect of returning to Haiti. You balked at it? Yeah. Especially with his young kids in tow. Aw, tisk, tisk, tisk. I keep thinking about them, he said. They don't speak Creole. They don't speak French. How would they go to school with a language they don't know? Gee, I don't know. How come a lot of foreigners that don't speak English come over here to America and get enrolled in schools? Free education on other people's tax dollars. They get enrolled and they don't speak English, yet they somehow muddle through. So I think your kids will be okay too. How will they adopt a home that they don't know? How can we live in that country now? We are terrified. Oh, poor Reginald, poor Yali. Yali, Yali, Yali. Get your adverbs here. Well, people, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they didn't really seem to have a whole lot of sympathy and compassion for me. Not they personally. I understand I understand they're not the same people who discriminated against me. So I'm talking in terms of social political climate. I'm not talking about people individually, individual circumstances. Um, I've made my case. I've made my point. Um, a very, very liberal media. Even the ACLU, everybody is pro-illegal immigrant, pro-refugee from all these third world countries. It's Thanksgiving today. I'm seeing in the news all the usual shelters and food drives and people reaching out to what I call the American homeless. Oh, see, they're taking a break, breaking up the monotony of their liberal bleeding hearts, just gushing with all this liberal guilt, white liberal guilt, for the illegal aliens and the refugees, and and they're taking a moment to very briefly put the spotlight on the American homeless. So rest assured, though, come New Year's Day, so we get this little brief in-between period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Come New Year's Day, that's all done and over with, and they're back to pushing their bullshit agenda of illegal aliens and refugees, and CNN will have more blown-up babies from Syria or wherever else all over your screen to make you feel sorry for them, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So there you go. Nobody really seems to care about the American homeless. Nobody cares about our plight. They just continue on. Seriously, I don't agree with. I know I talked a lot of smack just now, a lot of snark. I don't agree with Trump in this. And I'd also, for perfect clarity's sake, I want to point something else out. His name is Jumba Magwanya. And for those of you who are Nigerian out there watching this, you know exactly what kind of name that is. He was my public defender, and he did a very good job of getting the unlawful charges dismissed against me. Mr. Magwanya could very well have been a victim of discrimination himself had he, or if he very well indeed might be an American citizen himself, but either if he himself was kicked out of America or if his parents or grandparents were kicked out of America. The point is, had his immigration, because Trump he's made it clear he's targeting legal immigration as well as illegal immigration. So I want to be clear, so I guess maybe that's my overall point. While I don't agree with President Trump, I'm definitely making it known that it's very, very difficult for me to find sympathy for these Haitians, because after all, they have no problem telling me, you can't stay here. Total Control 871.